Hey guys, my name is Daniel Wilton. I am at Michael's house. This is the second part to our meal prep tutorial. So first we took Michael shopping to get all of his groceries and everything that he needs to get him through the week. Now we are at his house and we're about to put his meals together. So originally we were going to do a protein source, a carbohydrate source, and then a fat source for dinner. And then of course we're gonna try to implement vegetables with every meal, just to add in a little bit more fiber, make sure nothing gets clogged up. So that's what we're doing right now, is we're actually putting these meals together. I got the rice cooking and it's almost finished, and I got some asparagus right here, pan-searing. So while it's kind of finishing up, I'm gonna go ahead and dice up his chicken. So Michael is going to do 6 ounces of chicken or protein, that's his protein source, with every meal. And I got the scale right here. I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see it. We got another camera over here, cool. So I'm dicing it up, slice and dice, swipe, swipe maneuver. Boom, boom. I'm sure Justin's gonna have some really cool editing tricks to make this look a lot cooler than it actually is. Justin's the man. Big shout out to Sky's the Limit Marketing Solutions for hooking us up with some professional video content. Can't thank you guys enough. All right, so what we're about to actually do is put this on the scale. So first, you put your Tupperware on the scale. And since you don't want to weigh the Tupperware, so what you do is you put the Tupperware on the scale and then you hit tare to make it go back to 0. Right, so 1.4 ounces, we want it to go back to 0, which it just did. So, and this is also where most people they probably make the biggest mistake, is they assume that they can eyeball it. And in reality, what we see is usually when people, like they don't use a scale or they don't use measuring utensils, the carbohydrates, the amount of the macros with carbohydrates goes up, the fat content goes up, and then protein actually goes down, which is super crucial because protein is probably one of the most important macros that you could be consuming throughout the day. You're constantly losing protein throughout the day because your body doesn't store it quite like it does carbohydrates and fats, which is another reason why you need it with every meal. And you're burning, just by taking in more protein, you're burning off more calories. So when you take protein, you're burning off 30% of those calories through digestion alone, through a thermic effect. With carbohydrates, you're burning about 20% of those calories, and then fats, there virtually is no thermic effect. So right now, see, we're trying to get them up on 6 ounces, and boom, we just hit that. Perfect. All right, so the rice should be just about finished. I'm not sure if I'm in the frame or not. Perfect. All right, so the asparagus is almost done, but we got the rice right here. We're gonna go ahead and do that up. We got some, in case you're wondering, we got some brown rice, but keep in mind, brown rice, white rice, jasmine rice, there's not a significant difference between like the different types of rice. The significant difference is gonna come when you actually measure it out with the measuring utensils. So we're gonna give Michael a half a cup of the brown rice, and that's gonna be his carbohydrate. Boom. Boom. I will say, I feel like I digest jasmine rice, which is a white rice, a little bit better. And then even though it is a white rice, it's high on the glycemic index, but it has a low glycemic load, right? So, which is good. And then we're gonna go ahead and grab this asparagus. So yeah, it's pretty much finished up. Boom, boom. Meal prepping, fun stuff. But it's those little things that make all the difference in the world, right? One of my favorite verses in the Bible. I can't quote it perfectly, but it basically has to do with he who he who pays attention to the little things is rewarded with much more. So these are the little things. These are the little things that count and are going to pay big dividends off in the future, right? So I'm just going to dice this up a little bit. Boom. I love asparagus. I don't love it when I go use the restroom 30 minutes after consuming it, but all right, we're just going to put a little bit right here. So keep in mind, even though there's not really an added fat with the food, there still is fats within this meal. But basically, I tend to see the best results with me and with my clients when the fats are at the lowest. Contrary to popular belief, it's not carbohydrates that make you fat. It's the overconsumption of overall calories throughout the entire day. So, not the prettiest thing in the world, but that is one meal down. Got a couple more to go. So I'm gonna put this over here. And then actually that brings up the steam fresh vegetables. I think I mentioned these while we were taking Michael on the shopping tour. So these are amazing, very, very convenient. You just throw it in the microwave for 5 minutes and then voila, you have fresh vegetables. So that's actually what I'm about to do right now. Boom, boom. Let me see. And then while that's cooking, I'll give a shout out to Quest Protein Bar, one of the first protein bars to actually put fiber in their protein, or the protein bar, which is really, really cool because it will offset the amount of carbohydrates that is actually in the protein bar. This is one of the best ones, one of the best tasting ones in my opinion. This is the way to go. Quest is the best, right? So we're gonna go ahead and dice up some more of the chicken. Michael, do you have any questions so far? Or am I doing a pretty good job of instructing and teaching?
I'm following.
You what?
I'm following.
Michael's behind the camera for those of you that just think I'm kind of talking into the oblivion. Then we got my man Justin filming me. He's gonna make sure I look good, feel good, acting it up. We're gonna send this video off to Food Network. Maybe they will give us a contract. I don't know.
We'll at least have our own YouTube channel.
At least have our own YouTube channel. Boom. All right, get a shot of that. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. So that, I'm gonna guess that's probably 4 to 5 ounces. I'm gonna guess that's 4 to 5 ounces. All right, let's see.
Am I in the shot, Michael?
All right, let's see.
Okay.
There's 4. 5.9. So I was pretty on the money. We're gonna go ahead and grab just a little bit more chicken. Well, we're gonna end up using all of it, but for this particular plate, we wanna use 6 ounces. I'm telling you guys, very, very important. At least for the first 2 weeks, measure and weigh your food. It's so important. I can't tell you how many people will get off track just by not like doing this. I mean, it's all about the sacrifices you want to make. How good do you want to look versus this, the amount of time you want to spend on this kind of stuff. And by the way, a good rule of thumb when you're measuring protein, if you're going to use your hands or just eyeball it, so a flat palm right here is 1 to 2 that's 1 to 2 servings of protein when you're using protein. That's how you would measure it. For a starchy carbohydrate, it's a fist. For a fibrous carbohydrate, it's a cupped right here, so it would just be your cup, and that's 1 to 2. And then for fats, you basically just take your thumb, and that's how you would measure your fats, 1 to 2, right? And what's good about that is it's all relevant, because a bigger person is going to have bigger hands, so in turn needs more calories throughout the day. A smaller person has smaller hands and is going to need less calories, so it kind of works out. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and throw in his carb. Now, I'm not seasoning it or anything like that, really just making sure that we have the correct macros. But, you know, he can go back in and use something like salt, pepper, like oregano. You know, usually seasonings for the most part are open game. Where people get in trouble is when they start using, and actually Michael, I was talking about cooking the asparagus, and he was like, well, do you want to use some like olive oil or something like that to grease the pan? And olive oil is actually an added fat, right? And so you're adding a ton of calories when you start cooking with like oils and stuff like that. So be mindful of that. And what we actually used was PAM right here. And I know it says olive oil, but this is cooking spray, 0 calories. Always the best way to go. I know it may not add a lot of taste or whatever, but I'm telling you, it will take inches off your midsection, which is a good thing, right? Right, Michael? All right, so let's go ahead and vegetables, boom. Last couple seconds. Not sure if I'm still in the shot. Oh, my man Justin saving the day.
Go ahead and turn off that skillet.
All right. I was gonna go ahead and cook the rest of them. That's cool. All right, see, you guys get to see it in action. I feel like a DJ.
You want to film? Let's get 3 cameras. You want to stand over there and film? Yeah. Yeah. All right, it's recording.
Oh shoot. Okay. All right. And again, I didn't really put anything on the asparagus, but like I said, seasonings and stuff like that is usually open game. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and use the vegetables, or my 1 cup measuring utensil for the vegetables. Keep in mind, usually vegetables are a free food. You can eat as much of it as you want. I think this whole bag right here is like 30 calories compared to like 1 cup of rice, which is usually around 200 calories. So, but I'm using the measuring utensil just to kind of, to make sure that, I guess I'm really just kind of rationing it, you know. So this would be kind of like a fibrous carb, not to mention all the micronutrients that is in it. And that's really why you eat the vegetables. I mean, not only does it act as a filler, so it's gonna fill you up and makes you feel like you're eating more food, but also you're getting all the micronutrients in it. So it's the term I like to use. It's not calorie dense, it's nutrient dense, right? So boom, we're just gonna load them up. Some of these guys, now that was a cup, but I'm gonna throw a little bit more on there. Usually your dark leafy green, spinach, watercress, arugula, kale is going to be your best bet. We got a little, I guess that's cauliflower, which is cool too. And that completes meal number 2, dose. And so he's got his breakfast. He's got 2 lunches, so maybe like a Monday and Tuesday, and then the Quest protein bar is going to act as like a snack in between. And so just for you guys who are wondering, 190 calories, 7 grams of fat, not a big deal. It's only 11% of the RDA. That's the recommended dietary allowance throughout the day. Carbohydrates is around 22 grams, but then it's got 14 grams of fiber. So What is that? What's 22 minus 14? 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that's 7 grams net carb. And then 21 grams of protein. Really, really good choice. Boom. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and throw another bag in the microwave. I told you guys, saves a lot of time. Super convenient. Boom. All right, the asparagus is cooking, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and dice up some more of this chicken. I kind of feel like this is just a little boring right now, but I'm sure Justin's going to add some cool music, some like zoom in, some fade outs, and he's going to make it look really, really cool.
You already know.
He's going to boom, boom. All right, I got my little Michael Myers knife. All right.
Am I in the frame, Michael? Good. How you doing? Good.
I mean, fantastic. Fantastic. All right. So right now we don't have any salmon cooked, do we? All right, so we don't have any salmon cooked. So for his added fat, we're just gonna throw in some peanut butter. All right. What we'll probably do is make another kind of lunch. I guess it could be used as a dinner, but then after that we'll make him a dinner, and then that's when we'll throw in the added fat. All right. So use this one, and then again I got my trusty sidekick, the scale. Throw it on there. Make sure you zero it out, and then that's when we throw on the chicken. Boom. And I know for those of you that are like in my world, in the fitness world, meal prepping kind of is like second nature. You could do it in your sleep. But those of you that are not, I understand it can be really confusing. It can be overwhelming. It can be very tedious. So that's why we're making this video, is just to kind of try to give you a little bit of instruction, a little bit of guidance along the way with your fitness journey. So right now I'm at 6.5. That's cool. We'll leave it like that. Throw the rest of these vegetables in. Or first, let me do my carb. So again, 1/2 cup. And so that's about 6 ounces of protein with every meal. We're usually doing 1/2 cup of rice with every meal. And then about 1 cup of vegetables, right? We do have some blueberries, and that would be another carbohydrate source. And for the blueberries, we'd actually do about 1 cup, just because it has a little bit more, has some more micronutrients in it. It's a little bit more nutrient dense. Blueberries is considered a superfood. So in my opinion, I guess it would be a little bit better than the rice. But that's just my opinion. What do I know? Been doing this stuff since I came out of the womb. I was doing curls in my mom's belly. All right, we still got 2 minutes. Oh, let me check this asparagus. It's turning out decent. It's turning out all right. Again, let me give a big shout out to Sky's the Limit Marketing Solutions, coming up with the production, professional videos. I'm digging it. Really, guys, if you're looking for some professional video content, Sky's the Limit is the way to go. Never worked with anybody better. They know what they're doing, and I'm more than satisfied with the way that the videos come out. Right? So I'm just about to dice up the asparagus again. One more time. Boom, 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 boom. A good food tracking app is MyFitnessPal. I really like to use it. And I said that to say this. If you're not weighing or measuring your food and you're just using MyFitnessPal, it's not doing you any good. Because yeah, I mean, you're plugging in the food into the MyFitnessPal, but how accurate is it, right? Are you really eating a cup? Are you really eating 6 ounces of chicken? Or are you going way overboard with your calories and your macronutrients? So weighing and measuring your food is going to be the most important part. And then if you want to implement throwing in the MyFitnessPal, the tracking app and stuff like that, then that's when you would see some magic. So I'm just going to throw in a couple more veggies. Everything good with the shot? All right, so throw in a little salt. The RDA, recommended dietary allowance for salt, is around 2,500 milligrams. And what you can do is look on the nutrient content somewhere. It would give you a percentage. So let's do this rice. So sodium, 0 milligrams of sodium, so it's 0% of the RDA. Try the Quest protein bar. All right, so the Quest protein bar has about 280 milligrams of sodium, and it on the side, that little percentage, that's what that means, is that's 12% of the recommended dietary allowance throughout the day. So that's only 12%, so you could technically have a lot more. I just know a lot of people are like, man, it's got a lot of sodium, which honestly, sodium doesn't have any calories in it. It's not going to be very impactful on you gaining or losing weight. Yes, if you have hypertension or high blood pressure, you probably want to check your sodium, watch the sodium throughout the day. But other than that, it's not going to really make a big deal. Just put this to the side. And then we have another meal ready to go. And then vegetables in the microwave, done. Oh shoot, starting to drip a little bit. Houston, we have a problem. There we go. Take a sip of my coffee. Black coffee, I might add. It's not coffee that's the enemy, it's everything that you put in the coffee. The sugar, the creamer, the triple macchiato, caramel frappe with caramel, whipped cream topping and all that. It's good. I mean, I like the triple mocha frap, but you know, there's a time and place for that. All right. Boom, boom. All right, so let me go ahead and dice up some more of this chicken. And with the weighing and measuring of the food, I mean, just do it for like 2 weeks or so, you know? And then after that, you probably will have a much better idea of what 6 ounces of protein actually looks like, what half a cup of rice, a full cup of broccoli actually looks like. But even then, it's probably your protein size is probably going to go down. Rice or your carbs and fats is probably going to go up just a little bit. I mean, I'm not perfect either. It happens to me as well. So, Michael, do you have any questions or anything? No? Okay. Michael doesn't like to be on camera. It's more of a behind the scenes kind of guy, behind the curtain. And I wouldn't say I'm the talent. I would say I'm just the guy that does it. Which is cool. I don't mind it. Yum. All right, so we're gonna throw on this food. So this will be the meal that we throw in an added fat. And I know I keep kind of like hyping up the added fats in the meal with the added fats and stuff. That's because fats, like I said, it's not carbohydrates that make you fat. It's the overconsumption of overall calories throughout the entire day. So for 1 gram of protein and 1 gram of carbohydrates, there's 4 calories. For 1 gram of fat, there's actually 9 calories. So that's more than double the protein and carbohydrates. And that's where people get in trouble, and that's where all the extra calories comes from. So it's a good idea to keep those fats to a minimum. Really, you want your macros, the percentage breakdown, to look like this. For like a normal person, you actually want 50% of your total caloric intake to come from carbohydrates. What? Yes, carbohydrates, right? It's not going to make you fat. There's a conversion process that has to happen with carbohydrates, and that's extra work on your body, right? So for your body to store fats as fat, there is no conversion process. So your body likes that. It's a lot easier. So what happens is you overconsume, or there's an overconsumption of calories, and then your body starts storing the fat as adipose tissue, right? So carbohydrates is your body's primary source of energy. It's a good idea. Yes, you don't need to eat pastries, donuts, Pop-Tarts. Not a good idea, right? You want to get your carbs from, fibrous sources, potatoes, sweet potatoes. And yes, potatoes can be good as long as you don't load it up with butter, sour cream, bacon bits, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Although I will say with the sweet potatoes, caramel, marshmallows, brown sugar, and was it cinnamon? It's good, just like a dessert. All right, so we're gonna use a avocado for our added fat. Very, very good brain food. It's got a combination of omega-3s and omega-6s. So really good for the body, really good for the brain. I'm gonna go ahead and dice that up. In case you were wondering on how the perfect way to dice up an avocado, I'm about to show you. Giving you the keys of the kingdom right now, fellas and ladies. My foxes. Is that really? Nah, there's no way. All right, you're gonna wanna come up on this. All right, so let's take the sticker off.
Mind the frame, Michael? No.
Take the sticker off.
How about now?
All right, so I'm just gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it all the way around. I'm gonna cut it all the way around, just like so. Avocados is kind of like bananas. The riper it is, the better. And then so you take the spoon and then you do this. Ha ha. First time I ever tried to eat an avocado, it did not look as pretty as this right here. Boom. Boom. What you know about that? All right, here we go. Yes, all those omega-3s and omega-6s, the essential fatty acids. The reason omega-3s and omega-6s are important is because your body doesn't produce those fatty acids. And so therefore you have to get it from your diet, right? And avocados is a good source of that. So we're gonna go ahead and get this off of that. All right, guys, so for this particular meal, we're using half an avocado. And then he could use the other half maybe for the next day at dinner time. And then for the vegetables, I don't think I even mentioned it, but we're actually using a combination of broccoli and cauliflower. You could use, usually I'll do like spinach or something like that, but it's usually, so I got a pretty good example. Hang on. So just one more way the nutrition industry is tricking us. I was going through Michael's, I was doing a pantry appraisal at Michael's house, and so I came across this. It's protein blend, California style, some sort of a blend of whole grains, lentils, peas, broccoli, and light garlic sauce. There's a big difference between this and this. So you need to be very mindful looking at the calorie content. This is like 25 calories a serving, whereas this is 350 calories a serving. 350 calories a serving. For a smaller individual, that's like their whole meal. That should be their whole meal, right? So that's and then there's a big difference between eating for health and eating for weight loss and weight gain. And another point I just want to bring up is For someone who's trying to gain weight, you're gonna be using, instead of a half a cup of rice, you'd use like a cup or maybe even a cup and a half, just depending on how your weigh-ins go. Say you weigh in and you weigh 180, and then your next weigh-in, you're still at 180 and you're trying to gain weight, that means you just need to up those calories. You're eating the same foods, you're keeping the macro content the same, you're just gonna up the overall amount of calories, right? And then notice how this says protein, right? It means absolutely nothing. I don't even think I mean, 17 grams of protein is decent, but I wouldn't necessarily just, you know, consider it a protein source. This is what you call in the nutrition industry a buzzword. People see that and they're like, oh, that's gotta be good for me, right? Not necessarily. Not saying it's just bad, you know, horrible for you, but you would definitely, like, this is not a free food. You cannot eat as much of this however much of this as you want. So just keep in mind, be on the lookout for that. Try to stay in, you know, the bland broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, green beans, green peas family. And then, so we did our protein, we did our carbs, we added in that fat for dinner. And that's pretty much it. Again, huge shout out to Sky's the Limit Marketing Solutions for putting this together. I'm extremely thankful. I've never worked with anyone better. Definitely would recommend these guys if you're looking for a film crew in the future. But with that being said, again, my name is Daniel Wilson. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time.